Canadian parents and young adults from everywhere, have you noticed the change? The change that is outside our windows, the change that is inside our houses, the change that is in our stores, the change that is our marketing, the change that is our children's lives? Because I have. I have lived in that change, or the transitional period. I have lived in that low income neighborhood with that low income stereotype and with that low income look that comes along with it. I'm fortunate to have a father as motivated as he was, but none of this should matter. As a child, you mostly remember the bad things. Some good things, but mostly bad. I had seen a lot in my time as a child. I had learned how to survive with what I had. It was not street begging, but it was low income for sure. I came into the world without a care in one, but by the time I was 6 years old, I was very capable of forming my own decisions and opinions on life and living. I realized that people do not change, just their attitudes, and that to survive you would have to appease. When my father was mad, I found that with proper care to my attitude, I would not anger him further. Back then I was required to do many tasks or chores, some of which were tedious for a 6-year-old, but hey, that's life. My mother was from Brazil, and she would always jokingly say, back when I tried to avoid chores, which was rare, that when she was young, she'd had to bake bread for her family and feed the animals at my age. The most important thing for a parent is the responsibility factor that the parents apply to the children. With the times changing as quickly as they have, there is barely any time for us to stand by to witness the devastation of the digital age to our children. I see parents regularly have issues with electronics in the household, but rarely do I see such parents act on those threats. I feel as though the parents nowadays have gone soft upon their children, acting more as friends than teachers. The importance of a strict parents is the same importance that helps us maintain a job. This importance is responsibility. Responsibility. This is what teaches us to prioritize and figure out what is right and wrong. It improves the moral compass and helps us invoke a sense of justice that we can conform to. Without this sense of duty and meaning, we can become lost. Me and my sisters have lived in different scenarios, almost different lives. I saw mostly struggle and pain that my father felt, but knew that the comfort of my mother would keep him going straight. My middle sister Maya knew only of the growing life. When my father had started to accumulate wealth, she had not truly seen what I had seen and knew of. But she knew where we started was not the place we would end off. My youngest sister, Juliana, would never know of these trials and tribulations my father faced at all. She only knew of the success of my father. The care and parenting also decreased with each child as my father became busier and more productive. As a result, my mother was not as strict or imposing as my father. My middle sister, Maya, grew up fairly responsible, though that responsibility slowly became laziness in the household. For the youngest, Juliana, she grew into a state of right, believing that everything was a guarantee. I was the exact opposite. I knew nothing as a guarantee, and would believe everything to be hard work and labor. As I knew when my father worked, it would provide me with one used toy a month from Once Upon a Child. I knew he hated work, but he would do it, in love of me. I knew that when he got mad, it was not him, but his attitude. I knew that the only guarantee I had as a child was my parents' love. This is why, in the modern society, where the children don't see their parents because of the electronics and other such games, they lose the guarantee of love and become ungrateful. They believe that all is a given, and that birth was right enough for a job. They have not learned responsibility and that nothing in life is a guarantee other than their parents' love. This is why I yearn to all parents of the world. Be stricter on your children, and do not let your children's fortune of birth be their downfall. Instead of being their children's friend, or their child's friend, be their teacher. Teach them the ways of the world and how they can see it differently. Teach them of responsibility and prosper, and the failures. Remember this: your failure is beneficial to you because it can teach you the mistake and enable you to never do it again. But for your child, if taught correctly, your mistake can prevent them completely from making the very same one. You parents are the teachers of good will and fortune, and the exemplar like Christ on the cross. Your sins can show the way for your children. Be not just the friend, but more so the teacher.